Hello and welcome back to the Toronto Rock Athletic Center as we get set for semifinal number 2. But before that, we're going to send it down to Rick Imus, of course, with the Haudenosaunee and the Canadian National Anthem.
Please ask everybody to rise if you're able and remove your hats for our land is on, followed by the playing of both the Haudenosaunee and Canadian National Anthems by guitarist Rick Imus. The town of Oakville is located on the treaty lands of the Mississaugas of the Credit. We acknowledge and thank the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation for their stewardship of this land. We are grateful to have the opportunity to work on this land, and by doing so, we show our respect for its historical significance and first inhabitants. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rick Imus, of course, and welcome to all our viewers watching at home. We are at the Toronto Rock Athletic Center. Semifinal number 2 has the Six Nations Snipers against the Whitby SteelHawks. Lance Wynn, joined by league president and coach, aficionado, all that. 50-plus years of lacrosse experience, Mr. Paul St. John. Thanks for joining us. Starting goalies for today's game, Dusty Hill, 5-7 record. He'll get the call for the Snipers. And at the other end, Ethan Harwood, 5-2. He'll be between the pipes for the SteelHawks. Officials for today's second semifinal, John Vander Giesen is a crew chief. He's working with Mark Sandman Sands and Mark Smith, if that really is his real name. Head coaches, Vince Longboat leads the Snipers. His assistants are Derek Searle and Jake Henhock. And for the SteelHawks, Ryan Degerton is the man in charge. His assistant is Brad Reed. And, of course, if you tuned in earlier, a big 10-9 win, Monarchs over the defending champion Brampton Express. And, Paul, as we get ready to get underway here, you got to figure that this game should be equally as intense.
Oh, absolutely, Lance. It has to be. And for Six Nations, they got to take a page out of Toronto Monarchs book there and really get out to a great start and see if they can push Whitby and get a lead.
Well, that's going to be key, of course. Some notable absences from the lineup for the Whitby SteelHawks as they go to work. First offensive possession, Owen Orpana let the underhand go. It's tracked down, and a good job there by Jonah Kerr. He'll kick it back out. So keep an eye on, of course, Parker Pfeiffer with the ball. Devin Pfeiffer out there as well. And, of course, Owen Orpana on there on the left side. Good defense. Snipers, of course, come into this game. Hottest team. They've won 3 straight, including a 13-8 win over the Ohsweken Bears. That was in the quarterfinals. So when you look at what they've done, and then Whitby, of course, comes in having dropped their last 2, and then the bye week, Paul, tell me, do you think that may have a detrimental effect to this Whitby team?
Well, I would have said no, but Whitby has a bunch of injuries, and actually, and we've seen this coming in. I think they have 17 runners. You can carry 20, so you think the bye week would actually help them, but it hasn't. Some guys haven't healed, and they're not in the lineup today.
So good job defensively as the Snipers, and if you're talking about the Six Nations Snipers, you got to mention Wes Whitlow. You got to throw in what he's done. Thunderhill as well, and chance here, that rolls through. So a great start. Third shot of the game, and Braden McGregor, they said they had to win by committee, and he opens the scoring 1-0.
You know, that's one thing McGregor's really good at. He's very sneaky. And I think Dusty Hill is kind of playing a little lenient here. Cody Hamley passes the ball over. He's ready for it, but he drops, and it actually bounces just over his shin pad on the stick side. A really well-placed shot.
So we know the story about Dusty Hill. Of course, he's the mainstay for the Snipers. But again, sometimes he has some lapses like any other goaltender. But then there are times he gets so red hot, you can't get anything by him. SteelHawks now to work on offense. Now it's Devin Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer gets a screen from his brother, kicks it back over. Kerr looking to swing it. Orpana finds Pfeiffer. Good ball movement. Wrong stick side. They're going to test Dusty Hill, and he's up to the task this time. And now it's Jerry Stotts.
It looks like they want to go low on Hill a little bit here. Lance early, you can get them dropping a bit and see if they can pick them apart on some bounce shots.
Well, you know, when you let a tough one in, a barrage is going to come after you as Armitage swings it across. Chance here is twisted up. Chayton King, that's his spot. Can't find a mark. Bombury will pick that up. Chayton King again, that one right on. 5-hole, but Harwood having none of it. Good pressure. Bombury fishes it out, dumps it across. Backhand try as you saw there, Osborne trying to do a little something there. Good check, and Armitage tiptoed on the line, gets back up from Bombury, and they work it now. Armitage settled things down, and coming into this one, 3 straight for the Snipers. Paul, they have been playing their best lacrosse of the season.
Yeah, they have, Lance, absolutely. There you go. Right there, you got Chayton King. Shooter, I think it was Chayton by the looks of things.
That was Amos Whitcomb.
There you go, Amos Whitcomb. You know, they can shoot the ball well. He got a good look, and he fires away.
So just a good piece of ball movement there, and Whitcomb, of course, going to the traditional overhand.
Yeah, typical. And you know what? I use Chayton King because that's normally a Chayton King spot, and here it is here, and just an overhand shot, stick side, mid the knee, and finds a corner.
So
a lot of net, right?
So you can see a bit of a trend here, obviously working down low on these 2 goalies. Of course, these 2 goalies, big goalies, and going to have a little more difficulty with the low shots. Mitzulian back in the lineup for the Snipers after missing a week due to an injury, so they're happy to have him here. And I mentioned a couple of key missing pieces as McGregor gets bounced out, kicks it out. Orpana, wrong stick side, but Stotts on the rebound after the Hill save. And Jerry Stotts has been outstanding for the Snipers in the second half of the season, and now Bombury's going to cruise down the left side. So you look at Whitby, you got Luke Keenan missing, you got Bragg missing, you got Goodchild missing, Crowley missing, Ferris missing. On the Snipers side, again, no Nathan Fear, no Bradley Maxwell. So those 2 were big. And Avery Steinbach Parker not in the lineup either. So some changes both sides. And when I had a chance to speak, and that's exactly what you were saying, Paul, about that being Chayton King's spot, is he already shot that before he had caught it.
Absolutely.
And now back the other way is Bragg. Bragg gets it back, give and go. Wrong stick side twister through the 5-hole. So a tough way to score that goal. I don't know how, but he managed to twist that and get it right through the wickets of Dusty Hill.
Yeah, good look at the replay here. Again, transition goal, right? Jonah Kerr comes off the bench. He makes the pass, and it's almost like a switch hand move where he comes across as a righty on a reverse, and he puts it 5-hole. And again, he gets Dusty Hill moving a little bit and just finds enough room, and now we got a 2-1 game. Similar start to what we saw in Brampton, Toronto. Brampton went up 2-1 and 3-1. Let's see what happens here.
Thunderhill all over that loose ball off the draw. He'll control. Snipers now looking for a response in a 2-1 game. This one starting off smooth and as expected. Jordan Goddard's quick underhand sticks to Harwood. And he'll keep an eye out for this man right here, and Liam Osborne. He is the engine for this Whitby team and has been for a couple of years. Wears the C, of course, and now it's Parker Pfeiffer, the ball hawk. Pfeiffer has that one knocked down. You talk about a ball hawk, well, you got a couple of thieves in the two Hill brothers in Thunder and Vern. Better watch your wallet. Osborne, strong, good save by Hill. And we'll see, usually with Dusty Hill, sometimes a good save, and all of a sudden Hill is Whitcomb putting the pressure on.
Yeah, Lance, I'll jump in quickly there. You're absolutely right. We saw that last week. Oshwegan got 2 quick ones on him in the first minute of the play. And then he settled down, and he ended up being a game star. We could see that again, absolutely.
Chayton King. Whitlow filters out late. Still got time in the shot clock. Whitlow. Good shake and bake on Morgan. Swims his way into the double team. Has it stripped. And good job there as Big Robert Morgan. But picked up again in a chance. So never give up on the play. And Keelan Pelon went airborne and almost got a shot off. So just when you think the SteelHawks had it secured, the Snipers take it away.
Yeah, Pelon got it right at the shot clock buzzer, and then they had a second chance, and Harwood was equal to the task both times.
Well, there's an example of a guy I wanted to bring up. Of course, Stone Jacobs, he has been outstanding for the Snipers this entire season, and right there disrupting things, forcing a turnover. And when we talk about impact players, this guy with the ball in Thunder Hill, he has been dangerous. Dump in, looking for Armitage, can't connect, ball still loose. It's shot up, and now Pfeiffer, one-on-one with Bombury. Pfeiffer spins, great stick check. Boy, I tell you, you see it all when you see the Snipers play. It's stick skills are on full display.
On both ends of the floor, absolutely.
Jacobs, he'll elude Reed, kick it back out. They'll settle it down with Pelon. He'll work it across. Whitlow, under 8.5 to go here, opening quarter. Give and go, Armitage, and probably should have taken that shot on a quick release. Got stick check late, and now Conley. One man to beat. Easy save there for Hill. Whitlow picks it up, rolls it to the door. Thunderhill's going to scoop it. Knows he has to move forward and gets it ahead, and now it's Whitcomb. So both teams missing some of their regular guys, but it's going to be a tight affair regardless who's here, and Whitby can be missing 3 or 4 and still be equally as strong. That flip back with 10 on the shot clock. Bombury swings it around. Goddard, shovel, Whitcomb, give and go, Goddard. Stopped though by Harwood.
Harwood playing that, again, really good angle goalie. Played that perfectly.
Had that short side all cut off and locked down as Osborne will swing it around. Pfeiffer going top corner, but it's stuck right in the armpit of Dusty Hill, and with 7:27 to go, that will allow us to have a little chit-chat as a penalty coming here, looks like, to Jordan Goddard.
Yeah, it looks like for interference. Might have been goalie interference. I didn't catch it. Don't know if we have a replay probably behind the play, but Goddard is going to get the first penalty of the game for the Snipers.
So the SteelHawks will go to work on a power play, but when we have a little break here, Paul, we are talking about now.
We do have a replay, Lance. Let's just see it. So, again, the rule in the ALL is if Goddard puts his stick straight up, he's okay there. He might even be okay there. So the goalie hits his stick. If Goddard's straight out and his stick is outside the crease, it's no call. It's tough to see from that angle. I know his stick's leaning a little bit forward towards the goalie, but in my personal opinion, he's probably outside the crease, and it's a judgment call at that stage.
Well, I think that if he keeps his stick straight up anyway, then he avoids that call, period. So
correct.
You got to know when you're around the crease with that rule, not to you can't extend over.
Yeah, once you start leaning that stick towards the goalie stick,
then the ref's automatically going to be award that. So first power play opportunity goes to the Whitby SteelHawks, and they come in working efficiently, 61%. Snipers have killed off 56% of their man short. Chance there on the carom as Highland couldn't corral it, but a good job there. And now Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer to Osborne. Osborne's sidearm over the net, scooped up, no reset, 5 on the shot clock. Pfeiffer dumps it, delayed penalty coming, and they bury it. So Owen Orpana on the power play, and I do not think that will nullify the penalty.
Well, it actually should nullify the penalty. It won't, but it should. Now, again, Stats is up high, but the illegal cross-check, I think, is on Stolen Jacobs underneath. I don't think it was on Stats. Yeah, it is on Stolen Jacobs. He's going in the box, and the other come out. Now, again, we do have some different rules. I always thought the rule was on a delayed penalty, you cancel the goal. You cancel the delayed penalty, but, again, these guys are the experts. I just run a league.
That's all. I thought that because it was delayed penalty, there's a man in the box, that you couldn't nullify it with that. But, again, bottom line is second power play is going to go to Whitby. They're 1-for-1 with a man advantage in a 3-1 lead here as they will go to work on the right side. So Pfeiffer out there with Osborne. That one good save by Hill. Stotts battling for it. Rolls that one ahead. Vradenberg in it as well, as is Killian. And guess who? Ball hawk comes out of there again. Gets that over, but a shot clock violation. So the Snipers burn just enough time defensively to regain possession now, and they'll move it up. It's Killian. Killian to Thunder Hill. Hill. Chayton King out there as well. And on the floor is Keelan Pilon.
Just watching behind the play here, we got Jerry Stats and Liam Osborne. Liam's not going to fight anybody, and he's just trying to do a little trash talk to draw a penalty, and Jerry's ready to bite.
That shot from way out, right on by Hill. Rebound, Pilon, so they'll get to try and burn 20 more. A lot of room out there on that offensive end of the floor for the Snipers, and you know when Jerry Stotts is a veteran, Liam Osborne is both veterans, they'll chit-chat, they'll jaw, but neither of them was probably going to do something stupid. Pilon, great duck in. Late stick check, though, to get him, and good stick work by the defense. And now with 25 seconds left in the penalty, Whitby here trying to increase their lead. So they certainly got off to the start they were looking for, did the SteelHawks. Highland will swing it around. Osborne, kick on the skip, can't connect with Orpana. That goes into the bench and will belong to the Snipers. 11 seconds away from killing off this penalty. And Thunder Hill.
Yeah, Six Nations did a really good job of killing there. Whitby didn't really have that many chances. Very aggressive defense, very physical. Whitby, it's got to be very, very smart when they're going inside.
Whitlow lets the underhand go right on, usually right on, as he feels things out. Harwood doing a good job, gets it to Morgan. Morgan, high bounce, tough one. Good job there by Kerr to hang on to it, but he's wrapped up by Vern Hill. Thunder kicks it aside. Orpana trying to help his friends, but Skeen there can't hold on to it. Orpana had it, lost it, had it. Gets tipped up, and Vern Hill scoops it up to himself, knowing full well that the shot clock winding down, but that may not have worked out, and it does as it goes off. McGregor tied up. So good defense there collectively by the Snipers. And now if they got to go to work here on offense, and with just over 4 minutes left, you got to figure that Wes Whitlow's got to figure in the mix. Delayed penalty coming here to the SteelHawks.
It looks like Scotty Reed took one of the Sniper players behind the net and rolled him a little hard into the boards.
So Thunder Hill had his shot blocked, so it'll be the first power play opportunity of the game for the Snipers. 57% efficiency.
It is Scotty Reed with the slash.
So Reed will spend 2 minutes thinking about what he did, and this will give the Snipers a chance to cut into this lead. So you got Whitlow and Goddard on the right side, Armitage and Thunder Hill on the left, and Keelan Pilon is at the top. So we'll see this their first look with a man advantage. They were awfully good last game. 5 for 7 on the power play in the quarterfinal. Kick out. Armitage. Good pad save by Harwood. Just stuck that right pad out, steered to the side, fresh 20. Round the horn. Thunder. No look. In tight Armitage and denied by Harwood. And again, Harwood, that's a whole lot of netminder in that goalie, in that net. So you got to be aware as they go netminder to netminder, and Dusty Hill will send away Jacobs with 1:20 to go in a power play.
It seems when the Snipers get in tight there in a pick play where it cuts through the middle, Harwood's just getting big, making himself big. They got to find a corner.
May have to use that strategy of going downstairs as Whitlow working two-man game. Whitlow, backhand try. Just wide of the mark, 6 on the shot clock. Thunder Hill, skip, and this one going to be a tough one as just going to get shot down by Whitcomb. So again, good defense by the SteelHawks as they're into the final 50 seconds of the minor penalty. Pfeiffer swinging across the line, and Orpana. Highland with Orpana. Orpana swims in, runs into Vradenberg. Now triple team with Travis Stotts. Great job by Stone Jacobs as Osborne chopping down trees and Ben Wittich. Still loose. Orpana goes down. Stotts and Osborne trade blows. And now Wittich does a good job to get it ahead. And Thunder Hill now. 2-on-2, 3-on-2. Transition. Bombury. Hill tried to slide it by. Good save by Harwood. Rebound picked up. And the SteelHawks move it up to Morgan.
Harwood really gets down low. He gets those legs flat along the line there, and they're tough to score on. Like, it's basically like a goalie pad in hockey where he's covering up as much of the net as possible. They got to raise the ball a little bit. We'll see if they can do that. Delayed penalty here. Must be another slash against Six Nations.
Either a slash or a hold, one of the two. But either way, SteelHawks are going to fire away. And so holding call on Killian, and I'm not so sure that wasn't an easy call, but again, so when Paul had a chance to speak with the Snipers coaching staff prior to the game, they talked about playing their game as being a big thing. Discipline, of course, another big thing for the Snipers, and as you can see here, I'm not quite sure that constitutes discipline.
Yeah, he takes his hand off his stick and he kind of wraps around Devin Pfeiffer, and I mean, it's an easy call to make. It's, as a league, we sit up top, and we hope to see a playoff game with very low penalty minutes. But when players are doing what they're doing there, those are easy calls, right? So Snipers don't want to keep getting into penalty trouble because it's going to be a long day for them if they do that.
Sure will. You give this Whitby team chance. Of course, Whitby finishing second overall in the standings, got a bye. So they missed the quarterfinals. Taking that in was Orpana. Now quick outlet pass in transition. Here come the Snipers. Jacobs, hard, takes the corner. Stone Cold Jacobs, shorthanded goal. It's 3-2.
Well, we got Pfeiffer and Vadenberg after the whistle here. Parker Pfeiffer. Don't know if there are going to be any extra calls or if they're just going to call a goal. But what a goal by Jacobs. You got Parker Pfeiffer playing defense, and Parker's a pretty smart guy. But Stone he reads him out and it's, okay, yeah, I'm going to go in that. And, might have been in the crease there, actually. Looked pretty close, and we can roll that back just 3 steps. But what a move by Stone Jacobs underneath. And there's the extra afterwards, both, pushing back. And, again, I think both teams have been worrying about face masks and stuff, so hopefully there's no grabbing there. So
it looks like we got coincidental minors going as a couple of ruffians in the box. I think that's not a bad way to calm that situation down, but give Stone Jacobs some credit. He saw that it was Parker Pfeiffer on him defensively and didn't let up. He took it right to him.
Yeah, Stone's a smart player. We seen that last week. I mean, outside of Dusty Hill, he was probably the best player on the floor, and he's a defender that runs transition, and it can run it very well, as we saw there in a shorthanded goal.
Vern Hill, almost a theft right there. You got to keep an eye. He plays high up on that box, and he'll leak out at any time. So 1:20, we're into the final minute here of quarter number 1. Semi-final number 2, the Toronto Monarchs already in tomorrow's All-Cup final. That bullet from Orpana right on. Scooped up. Jacobs looking ahead, has a man, dumps it off. Wittich shot, steered aside, may have caught some iron. And that will go out of play and stay right here. So Snipers with under a minute, just 34 seconds you can see on the game clock. And they'll look to try to tick this one right down. Thunderhill had that pop out and got a little too complacent, and good job by Reed, took it from him. And now Cody Hamley. Pfeiffer tells him, get going, get to your spot. He's on his wrong stick side. Final 10 seconds. Gotta go, Orpana. Swinging it, gets it back, works it. Pfeiffer down inside. Good job, Jacobs. And a great defensive effort. 15 minutes have flown on by. 3-2, SteelHawks. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. Welcome back as we continue here through one quarter in a 3-2 game. Lance Wynn alongside Paul St. John. Glad you have it. And Paul, just some highlights from this first quarter, and it was a good one.
Yeah, this is the McGregor goal again, the first goal of the game where he goes short side bounce just over the shin pad of Dusty Hill there. Nice shot there, and the Snipers tie it up on an outside shot by Amos Whitcomb. Another short side, looked like almost the same spot without a bounce. And then you got Bragg coming down on 2-1. They actually credit the goal of Jonah Kerr, but as you can see in the replay, it was definitely Justin Bragg that scored that. And as I mentioned in game, he almost looks like he switches hands there without the actual switch. And then we got Devin Pfeiffer dumping it to Opana, and you can't give Opana time. He's one of the top snipers in our league, and he makes no mistake there. And then here's the one with Jacobs, where he beats Pfeiffer underneath. He scores. I know you don't like me saying it might have been in the crease, but I think everyone out there watching probably would say they might have thrown a flag there. We got a trip coming up.
Vern Hill's going to get a penalty trying to take that from Owen Orpana, and Orpana did the right thing. So Vern came over the top with the check, and Orpana locked his stick in place there and took it away, and that added to a little bit. Vern Hill, not usually one to gripe, but with 3 in the box, 7 seconds left in the Killian penalty. And then it'll be another power play for the Whitby SteelHawks.
Yeah, and Whitby can't. Parker Pfeiffer's in the penalty box on a coincidental minor, so he can't come out until a dead ball.
So Whitby in tight. Beauty goal. Liam Ozzy Osborne picking the top corner.
It's interesting with Osborne because he's a heck of a ball player all over the floor. And Whitby loves to play him out the back door, but realistically, and you can see on the replay how good he is up front when he gets the ball, and he loves going up high, and he normally likes to pick the corners. He's such good offensively. I know he's on a 5-on-3 power play, a little easier, a lot more space, but he just knows. He turns and whips it top corner. No goalie stopping that.
Oh, and then they go continue now with the man advantage here as Pfeiffer. So you talk about capitalizing on your opportunities. And I believe that was Devin that buried that one, and beauty shot.
It was Devin. The replay up here, beauty bounce shot, far corner. I think Dusty was playing a little high and playing off to his stick side and left a little bit of room there. But the interesting thing is we didn't hear the penalty calls, and now they're saying they come out on a dead ball. So the next dead ball, we'll see Vadenberg and Parker Pfeiffer back on the floor. But nice shot by Devin Pfeiffer. Got his head up, saw a lot of room, and Bounce shot, top corner.
You got that right. Whitlow with the scoop, and that's a definite penalty for sure, as Whitlow and two trees close by him went down at the same time. Reed'll make the walk, and those are the kind of things now that hopefully, if you're the Snipers, you can help you get back on track.
Yeah, one-handed slash, and on the leg, and they called it a trip. Could have called it a slash. Whitlow is hurt. Just see him hobble off. He's not on the power play to start. We'll see, how serious that injury is.
Hopefully Wes Whitlow can shake that off as Goddard and Chayton King occupy the right side. Chayton King, that's his spot, that's his shot, and that's usually the result. First power play goal of this game for the Snipers, and for 88, that's his first goal of the postseason.
Yeah, good ball movement. I don't know if Harwood would like this one if he sees the video, because he kind of quinches his body. I said earlier how he likes to spread out and get big. He got very small there. So it wasn't a corner pick by Chayton King like he normally does. It was more tight to the body, and it just powered its way through him.
And with Chayton King having such a heavy shot, you're right. If you even flinch a little bit and shrink a bit, that ball's going to go off you and toward the net. That's what happened there. So teams back to 5-on-5 as Devin Pfeiffer finds some open carpet, works it. Highland kicks it back out. Kerr in tight, backhand try well wide of the mark. Mitch Zulian, great job to go up one-handed to snare that, and he'll move it up to Travis Stotts.
Love to see these two teams settle it down.
So Whitlow back out there, but there's the Thunder bringing it again. Beauty feed.
And that's what we want to see. I didn't think that Six Nations was going to get the ball up that quick, and they did, and I should know that because they're a great transition team. But I want to see some 5-on-5. And this is 5-on-5. Whitlow gets wide open somehow, and Thunderhill, crease dive. Those are good crease dives. I talk about a lot on our creases, in the ALL. I'm not a big fan of some of them. The guys are diving, and they're coming very close to goalies. That's a nice crease dive. He dives across, picks a corner, lands in the crease. Good goal.
I like the fact that Wes Whitlow, because he was on his wrong stick side, was able to thought pass first and not shot first, and he'll pick up the helper there. We've got a 5-4 game here, and possession belongs to the SteelHawks.
Well, we see the game of runs. Two quick ones by Whitby on the power play. Six Nations gets a power play goal. Now they get a 5-on-5 goal.
Swing across. Pfeiffer almost had it taken away by Killian. Quick shot as Orpana used Wittich as a screen. Now on the run, transition. Here come the Snipers. Killian barreling in, gets bounced out by Orpana. He'll curl out, wait for some help now. And this was one of the things, when I spoke with Vince Longbow prior, we talked about playing their game and discipline, but he also talked about slowing down their transition game and upping the Six Nation transition game.
Yeah.
Now, would you agree that as of right now we're seeing that?
Yeah, I definitely would agree. And truthfully, if you ask me who should have the better transition game, I would pick Six Nations, right? Whitby's missing some of their top transition guys. Nate Woods stands out for me every time I see him play, but he hasn't played the last 6 weeks. And we don't have Osborne playing out the back door, who's another great transition player. So advantage Six Nations for sure.
We've definitely seen Osborne in transition be dangerous. Orpana had that one blocked. Stotts gave him an extra whack. Chance here, Pfeiffer puts on the brakes, kicks it back out. Swing around in the middle, Osborne! No goal as Dusty Hill breakdancing his way in that crease to make the save. And now Mikey McLaughlin, good to see him back in the lineup for the Snipers. And it's Chayton King. Whitcomb, stick down. Morgan does not have a stick. King shouldn't have passed that one off. Looking inside, that's off the post. Whitcomb can't find it though. Clancy can. He'll move it up. One man to beat, but it's Stone Jacobs, so might want to put the brakes on that. And he does. That's an example there, Paul. I think they should have went right at Morgan. Morgan didn't have a stick, and Pfeiffer shot right on. Hill, good save, and we know Hill can let it rip. Vradenberg, one hop. Vradenberg ducks in. Vradenberg goes to the bounce. Too much on it. Into the screen, and it'll go up the other way.
Well, we got some end-to-end action going here. This is 5-on-5 lacrosse. This is what we ask before these games start. We're we're finally seeing some here in the second quarter.
When I spoke with Ryan Degerton and Brad Reed, they talked to me about limiting, of course, the run game. As diving is Osborne, but creased the call. Limiting their mistakes, as being one thing, and then playing a team effort. And there's the Osborne and Stotts exchange, and we'll see how that one rides out. But everything done very veteran-like, very subtle.
Well, I think that favors Osborne. Osborne's going to dive. Osborne's going to draw. That's what he does. He's great at it. There's nothing wrong with it. If you're going to do it and you're going to get the calls, you're going to continue to do that. I don't think Stotts. I think Stotts is going to continue to battle him.
That pass and a chance on the wraparound. Almost tucked it into Shorty on a great try by Parker Pfeiffer. Now McLaughlin, back door, bounce, beauty, Thunder, buries it. Oh, my. Bringing the thunder and the rain. The captain to T-Thunder for a tie game.
That might have been the best bounce pass I've seen in the All in our 9 years. How he feathers this through with a defender reaching out. Josh Sweet can't get a stick on it. And how Thunderhill tippy-toes the crease and scores. He draws Harwood over and just throws it back across. Almost similar to Justin Bragg's goal, because Bragg's a lefty as well. But just a pretty goal. Here's the one earlier. Osborne had a great chance. The ball actually trickles through. It looks like it crosses the goal line. But realistically, it wouldn't have been no goal anyway because Osborne would have been in the crease. Great catch by our replay, Rachel there.
Top-notch camera work by our camera crew as Pfeiffer now will settle it in. 5-5 game here, and like you said, Paul, it's been a game of runs, and now Orpana turns the corner. That bouncer will carry him up, and good job by Orpana to track it down. Stotts and Vradenberg were on the run. 7 on the shot clock, though. Skip. Pfeiffer blocked by Stotts. And he'll just heave that in the corner, and it'll belong to Stone Jacobs.
Quinn Hyland thought he had a freebie there because the ball came off, and Jacobs never grabbed it for possession, but he did get a stick on it, and Hyland picked it up. He thought he was going to have a chance to score, but the right call is made.
Whitlow looking for a screen, ducks in, kicks it back out. Thunder. Shovel back, looking for Bombury. Bombury will run it down. Goddard, skip. Thunder's quick shot, just wide. Goddard, great hustle to get inside position. Whitlow, backhand try right on. Goddard working hard. Thunderhill trying to get in the mix. He does. And we're going to have too many on the floor, and it's going to go against the Snipers. So tough when you're talking about a loose ball and too many on the floor. Those are the kind of penalties that are costly. And that is going to allow SteelHawks to go to another power play, their 4th of the game. Now they've got 3 power play goals. They've given up 1 shorthanded goal in 3 power play tries. I tell you, that's a whole lot going on.
That means stay out of the penalty
That's
box.
exactly what that means. Don't get any penalties. They're lethal. So back to work. Fife and Fife, the Fife Dog crew out there with Ozzy Osbourne and Hyland along with Owen Orpana. That one, tough connection on the backhand pass, picked up by Dusty Hill. He'll air it out. Zips that, Stotts, bounce, and it goes off Vradenberg, but he's got time to gather it, regroup. Teeter on the line, Sweet on him. Gets it over. Stone Jacobs again. Blows by defender. Stone cold. One more time. His second shorty of the game.
And I think that's the Snipers' first lead too, Lance. 4 in a row, 4-goal run. Vradenberg loses a Sweet a little bit. And again, Devin Pfeiffer back on defense. Nothing against Devin. I mean, when you're up against Stone Jacobs, he's already done it to his brother, and he does it to Devin now. It goes underneath again. That one looked a little bit more clean.
Well, good to see that you took a stripe or 2 off your shirt, and you're back up here with me, and we're good to go. And you're right, first lead of the game for the Snipers, a big one. And Vern Hill taking a draw, you don't see that too often, and out there trying to disrupt things as the SteelHawks set up on offense. So it has been back and forth in this first half. We're under 8.5 to go. Power play resuming. Osborne working with Fife. Fife lets it go, and that one's steered aside by Dusty Hill, who you can see is feeling a little more comfortable now that his team's giving him some. Another good save by the Dust Bucket as he got the shoulder pad out, going back door, lots of room, on the money, Thunder, and they're going to call too many on the floor as I think maybe too much hang time on that, but that's a tough one at this juncture. Impossible for us to tell, but fortunately you can see great throw by Dusty Hill. I think you have to figure the distance that he was out and the closing that may have been a good call.
I honestly think watching it, because I saw it in real time, Thunder was actually trying to hold for his teammate to get off. He was holding, but again, he knew if he didn't start soon, he wasn't going to get that pass. So I think that little 1 or 2 step extra, that's why on the replay you do see the distance. And if you notice, very tough call, but that's what the referee's looking for there if he does leave early.
Good heads-up play, but back to work with the man advantage, and it's a 5-on-3. So golden opportunity, but Dusty Hill closing that off on a chance by Highland. And now Jacobs. Good speed, and he just lowers the boom down on Orpana. And I tell you, Jacobs, one tough customer. So 5-on-3 now for another 20 seconds. Jacobs going to go for a run. Reed and Conley are going to work him over pretty good. And it's scooped up and going to be a penalty. So a slashing call. Reed's going to protest, but that's going to at least nullify one of those penalties, and it's Conley that's going to go.
Yeah, I think, Reed's saying that Jacobs grabbed them at the end as they're following the map, but the problem is here, nothing against Conley, you don't need the ball back. Hold. There's the slash. There's the second whack. There's no need to slash there. Just pin. You might, they might kill off one penalty, but you're still going to get the power play. Now Six Nations can kill their 11 seconds in their first penalty, and they play 4-on-4 for a bit.
So with that said, that'll give us a chance to thank some of our Six Nations sponsors. Of course, Classics to Customs Auto Body, Belco Construction, KT Gas and Tobacco, Tribe Cannabis, Puff Puff Pass, Little Buffalo Store and Gas, MTS Native Services, Morrow Athletics. The gear is outstanding. Guaranteed Glass and Tint, Nicosi, Wicked Extracts, and of course, my man Myron and Hills Custom Coffins. You are allowed to visit any time on the regular, but you cannot stay. As we get set to resume here, and Paul, it's funny because I know we always talk a lot about some of the close calls, and even though if we're not doing a game live, we don't have the luxury of having to replay like we do today, but it's tough for these officials. You got to agree that, when something happens in a split second, we have the benefit of that, they don't. So, are your thoughts about that maybe we should get the challenge flag in the league, or what are you thinking? Maybe challenge balls and strikes. Talk to me.
You know what? You always think that, but truthfully, it's easy to be critical, and I know I am critical. I mean, you know what? They're my guys, they're my crew, but I see it from a coach's side too, right? Because I've been behind the bench and that, so I can understand the frustrations. But they do got to understand they don't have that luxury of video replay. We do today. Normally we don't either, but we do tape every game, so you can see after.
Quick shot by Whitlow, and just in case you don't know, for our official scoring, any disciplinary reviews, anything like that, are all reviewed. And a chance is Cody Hamley. Boy, you talk about a big answer there. Steps up. And 4-on-4, always dangerous to Whitby SteelHawks.
It's interesting because Cody Hamley's one of the unheralded players in this league. Quiet, goes around his business, but almost every game he does one of these. Comes down, looks off, looks at the right side, and he knows where he's going to shoot even before he does shoot that. So he's not looking for a spot. He already knows a spot. And again, Dusty's there, but the ball's in the net before he can move because Dusty doesn't know where he's going to shoot.
Well, he certainly looked there like he knew where he was going off the jaw. Reed, quick. That one steered aside by Hill. So
and Hill has been very good, Lance, ever since it was 5-2. All right, so that's the first SteelHawk goal since that time.
Well, just like you said, it takes these netminders a little bit to warm up, and they're now feeling it right now as coming out late is Kerr. He gets bounced out by Vredenberg. 10 on the shot clock. Vredenberg, no stick. Going to have to guard him without one. Pfeiffer, shake and bake. Wittich on him. Just shovels it down. Good defense. Locked him up. 2 sticks on the carpet. And possession belongs to the Snipers.
So Jonah Kerr, just a little lesson for him when he watches this. Smart play, gets the ball to Devin. He's got to go out. I know he wants Devin to bring his man to him, but if Devin's not, get out and get on him so you can switch off and Devin can be on the guy without the stick.
How about that pass? Chayton King feeding Bombury. So Chayton King, forever the sniper. Bombury, the recipient this time. And a big goal for the Snipers.
You know, Lance, I should be smarter. Every time I talk and I want to describe something, I'm trying to give Jonah some tips, there's a goal scored. And I always look at, I know, I got to be quiet. But just a heck of a play, and you just can't give Chayton King that spot. He's, this year, and I think you've said on a couple of broadcasts, he's had another terrific year. And as the season's gone on, he's gotten better and better.
Yeah, I think he's done a good job. And that time, you know what? Coach, that you have to buy into the program. And if you think it's better sometimes, Jacobs up the middle to draw the defense to you, knowing that they're focusing on you, and that leaves someone open, and you're still willing to give it up. That shot from Jacobs just missed a short side of the post. Whitlow gets it back, slinks his way out, and rips that underhand off the post. And I know just based on the number of games I've done this season, Wes Whitlow leads the league in post hit. At least 3 a game. Goddard shot wide. Thunderhill will get that. 10 on the shot clock. Teens back to full strength. Haven't said that for a minute. Whitcomb with 5. Gets bounced out. Good job by Eddie Farid. And instead, it'll go up to the SteelHawks, and they'll move it up over the line with Farid. Farid cutting late. Back door, and Pfeiffer just, I thought he missed everything, but nope, they're saying it definitely, Hill got a piece of it, and it's up and out of play. So possession will stay right here with Whitby for another 20. Semifinal number 2, it was a good one, 10-9. Monarchs booked their ticket to tomorrow's All-Cup Championship Final. Curl out, quick shot, bounced it again. Dusty Hill got a shoulder on it, out of play. And in this game, I tell you, Paul, everyone is finishing their checks. Everyone is making sure that they're trying to send a message here.
Yeah, they are, Lance. I don't like some of the stuff I'm seeing. Like, I'm watching some stick work. Whitby thought they were getting the power play. See Hartwood coming, but there's no delayed penalty there. But, Highland's going in with a stick up and stuff. It's a battle out there. These guys are going to war here today. They're trying to punch their ticket, like you said, to join the Monarchs in the All-Cup final.
Off the care of Vern Hill. Has some room to operate, and there's some action back behind in Travis Stotts. So Stotts, of course, picked up an extra one, and then there's an extra one coming as well. And that one's to Osborne. So you're going to get 4 and a 2 at least. So Stotts gets an extra 2, and then Osborne gets 2 for Lipinoff because of the Lipinoff.
It looks like it's a 2 and a 4. I mean, in all honesty, again, here, definitely a face mask grab, right? And they've been warned about this. In all honesty, Travis Stotts probably lucky he's still in the game. It could have been a 5-minute major. We have a rule: if you grab a mask and you let go quick, it's a judgment 2 minute. Normally it should be a 2 minute. It's a judgment. Once you get into a grab and tug, like we just saw in the video, that's a 5-minute major and a game misconduct. We want to get that out of our game. We want to clean it up.
I think you're right. And that's the idea, is back to work with a 5-on-3 now. And Snipers certainly not helping their own cause, of course. When you do this, you give the SteelHawks all the opportunities. As good job by Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer on the run, bounce. Good save, Dusty Hill. Picked up, offensive rebound. And Highland will reset with Orpana. Osborne dumps it down. Kick out Orpana, has room. He's going to let that bullet go. Karam played. Highland again. Minute 20 left in the first penalty. That shot steered aside and out of play, so that'll stay right here. And
I think Whitby got a reset there that wasn't the reset, but in the end it has worked out because that one went off of Stone Jacobs. A 20-second reset.
Chance as Osborne tried to go to that same corner where he scored earlier. Highland, 6 on the shot clock, gets it back, works it. Pfeiffer knocked down, and that one went right off the cage. And Stone Jacobs, boy, he's taken a whole lot. He's been in a whole lot in this first half.
Yes, he has. I mean, that one was off. It looked like a mask, but it might have been the body. Stick as well probably hit him. But he's a tough kid. He just wants to keep going.
Thunderhill, speaking of tough kids, he's not afraid of that double team. He's a trickster. He'll let that shot go online and get his team a fresh 20.
They got to get out of this first penalty, eh? They got to get out of this first penalty.
That's key right now as just 35 seconds left. Fareed, size advantage. Thunderhill, though. Hesitation, good move. Shovels it out. Time, chance. Chayton King almost got a hold of that as they were working 2-on-4, and now rolling up. A chance in transition. Give and go. Tried to go. What a save, Dusty Hill. Oh, my. And a reset now for the SteelHawks. 5 seconds left in that first penalty. Tried to go dump down, picked up, lofted out. Stott's going to go for a run. First penalty over. Jerry Stotts looking a back door. The big man. Orpana trying to budge him. Kicks it out. Bombury creates some space with Goddard. We're under the 2-minute warning now. Boy, if the Snipers are able to kill both those off, that's a huge momentum boost for them.
Absolutely. That was a big kill of the first penalty.
Goddard shovels it back. Whitlow ducks in. Whitlow again ducks in. Whitlow fake. What a goal, Wes Whitlow. Oh, my. No one in the building has clothes on because he undressed everybody. Goodness gracious. Wubba Whitlow.
Someone get my pants. Can I say that? You just said we all lost our clothes. I believe we did. Here's the miss here. Great save by Dusty Hill at one end. He's been spectacular here in the second quarter. Whitlow, fake, hold, fake, hold, up and over.
I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know how much time
wow.
Anyone got fake, hold, fake it. I think we're going to get a
Thank you, Caroline, for bringing me back my pants. I can put them back on. That was incredible. Wow.
7-6 game, and boy, Wes Whitlow, I think it's 8-6 actually. And Wes Whitlow, but he has, at the beginning of the season, Wes Whitlow's issue was getting penalties and spending more time in the penalty box than he was on the floor, which was detrimental to his team. Since then, in the last, I'd say, 8 or 9 games, Wes Whitlow's been one of the best players in the all, just based on the fact that he's on the carpet and not in the box.
Yeah, you know what? He's had a fantastic year. He really has. I know you say, a few games early, there's some struggles with penalties and stuff, but from start to finish, he's been one of our top players. And we haven't announced the 3 finalists for MVP, but, I can go on record here and saying he's definitely going to be one of them. He's had that type of year. And good on him and good on the Snipers that Wes has taken on that leadership role.
Well, we know the Snipers, of course, a bit of a mid-season change. They had Darcy Palace head to the GM role. Vince Longbow took over behind the bench with Derek Searle, Jake Henhock, and they've been good. A chance here. Pfeiffer off the crossbar and out of play. So right now, if you talk about bounces, right now it's going in favor of the Snipers. Some close calls for the SteelHawks, but they're still on target, and you can tell – second half's going to be a dandy as Hill on his game now looking for an outlet. Wittich dodges Orpana, gets it up, and it's Radenberg. Heading into the final minute here of this second quarter.
Whitlow's goal was Six Nations' third shorthanded goal, by the way, too, Lance. Jacobs with the other 2.
Impressive in itself, as the thing is, Whitby's already scored 3 power play goals in this half as well. Thunderhill going for the dunk. Thunder ran into that wall. That's Harwood. And now Pfeiffer will work it up. Clock ticking down. So no chance to go for a 2-for-1 here as SteelHawks will look for the best shot. Osborne had a notion, swing it around. Still 10 seconds left in the man advantage. Stotts chops down everything. That one blocked by Bradenberg. Shot clock winding down here. Got to let it go. Again blocked. Great job by the Snipers. Vern Hill's going to pick it up with 10. Doesn't have anyone with him. Knows that the numbers. And he's going to shoot that bounce pass. Armitage rolls. Time winding down. Great defense there by Conley. And what a first half. We've seen a little of everything. 8-6 Snipers. We'll be back with the third. Welcome back to the Toronto Rock Athletic Center, semifinal number 2 at halftime. Lance Wynn joined by Paul St. John. And Prez, as you take a look here, we've seen some really good offense here in this first half.
Well, we did, and a lot of power plays, a lot of penalties. The first 2 goals that we just saw that were both goals. Whitby 5-on-3, Whitby 5-on-4, and then Six Nations kind of takes over. They get a power play of their own, and Chayton King scores 5-3. And I believe Thunder Hill goes on a bit of a run here with a couple. Nice pass by Whitlow. There's the crease dive we talked about. He does end up close to Harwood, but it's a good crease dive. McLaughlin with, as I called, the best bounce pass we've seen in the all. Again to Thunder Hill, 5-5. I think here's where Six Nations takes their first lead, and this is Stone Jacobs shorthanded goal underneath against Devin Pfeiffer. And then I believe Wes Whitlow scores here. And the one where, we used to joke at, say, Chris back in the day about going streaking. And you said, oh, this is the Hamley goal. Sorry to tie at 6-6. That was just a nice look by Hamley. Knew where he was going the whole time. Look, he points back at, I believe, at Harwood, whoever threw the ball up to him. This is the miss by Faubert. And then rebound, again, we started seeing Hill playing great. This is the one here I'm talking about. I'm talking about going streaking his kids. Well, Whitlow just undressed all of us. It's just a beauty. You got to have patience. Most players don't. Most players, no disrespect to a lot of the players in this game. And even in the pros, they want to shoot the ball outside because they're not thinking they can get in. But the top players, even in the NLL, you watch them, they have that patience, that little extra, I can throw that fake. And they do, and they score some of the most spectacular goals.
Well, you're right, and we've been privy to see that, privy to what Wes Whitlow's done, privy to what both Snipers and SteelHawks have done in the first half, as it's an 8-6 lead in favor of the Snipers.
Yeah, and we saw Chayton King make it 8-6. I was talking there, and on that replay, another outside bullet which is his trademark.
Pfeiffer working on that side. Teens at full strength here to start this third quarter. Pfeiffer gets a step, fakes a shovel, kicks it across. Orpana shot half-hearted as it was partially blocked, and now Vradenberg. He's been rock solid for these Snipers in the second half of the season. Shouldn't really say that. He's been rock solid throughout this season. Probably his best all-round season in the Arena Lacrosse League. Bombury, Whitlow, again. Shades that, kicks it across, working to Goddard. Goddard on the run. Tried to sneak one through a couple defenders, picked up, and how about Keelan Pelon on the doorstep, rolling around, pushing doorbells, and it's 9-6.
Well, replay being pulled up here. Six Nations has gotten very good at this, where they crash in net, looking for a rebound, and Pelon just tippy-toes across the crease. It's there, and I know Harwood's looking at crease, and that, even on the replay, it looks clean to me. And he puts the ball in the back of the net. And they've been good at that during their run, where they'll send the offside to crash a crease for a rebound. That's an art that players either have the courage to go in or they just pull out and change.
That, of course, one of the parts of the evolution of this sport, being able to pick the ball up off the crease area, along with a few other things. Highland will work it off McGregor. So the Snipers have gone on a run here. And now Highland trying to answer, but Dusty Hill, and we found that the better the Snipers' offense gets, the better Dusty Hill gets between the pipes. Stotts, he'll give way now, and they'll work it to Armitage. Armitage been quiet, has had a couple of opportunities. Swinging around to Whitcomb. Whitcomb skips it, Bombury. He'll take that, and it slides through. So Bombury, with a good hard overhand, extends the lead to 10-6.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't even probably have to say much here, because you called it a good hard overhand shot here. And again, it looks like it's just above the pad, under the glove, by the hip, in the net. Tough save when you're going down, right? You got to be standing straight up and getting big like he was earlier in the game.
Yeah, and that goes to what we talked about earlier about where do you work a big goaltender, always big up top. So those shots up top usually limited, but you tend to go down and work the pad area to see how agile he is with his footwork, and just a really good shot there to bury it as Osborne So they need a little something here, a little offense. That one right on. Dusty Hill sticks to him. And now Jacobs going to look for an outlet. Osborne on him. Jacobs, one quick pass. Goddard straddles the line, and it's to Zulian. They cried about that, but he was straddling the line, so good job. Whitlow bumps off one, shovels it over Goddard, and too much on that screen as that will force a turnover and give the possession back to Whitby.
Yeah, just watch Bonberry roll the ball in the corner. Again, none of the officials watching. I don't want to see them call penalty after penalty, but again, it's just supposed to be just a turnover, put the ball down the carpet, and you move away. So might have got away with one there, but at this stage of the game, we kind of want to see some 5-on-5 action.
Going with a bit of flow. Good hit there from Gradenberg. He takes a slash, and then I'm sure that another one in Andresco as Vern Hill will just leave that, and it's an over and back call. And possession will belong to the Snipers in the offensive end. So.
Yeah, that was Jonah Kerr that took the hit there for Whitby. Again, I think he just got caught trying to make a move and didn't.
Pelon trying to go far side. Good save by Harwood as he flips one up. Got to go and get it. Good job by Morgan as he'll shovel it. And Faubert.
Big save by Harwood there. He needs that. Because, again, he's one of the top goalies this year in our league. So if he can gain some confidence.
Best goals against average at 10. That pass as Travis Stotts lost his footing. Hill picks it up, and we're going to have something, maybe coincidentals, as I think Osborne may go with Orpana. I thought I saw Orpana with a penalty for sure, and Osborne had stirred it up. And if you're going to make a trade, then that trade's probably going to favor the Snipers.
Yeah, I thought it was going against Orpana as well. We do have a replay. Let's see if we can catch this, see if it is both. A little push, nothing really heavy on both of them. Orpana hasn't done anything. Well, there's a stick punch, another punch.
There's two.
And he calls both. So in the end, it probably could have been a Whitby penalty. They might have got away with one. I mean, physical lacrosse is part of the game.
Pelon in tight scores! What a feed again from Wes Whitlow. Pelon making them pay in tight. Second of the game for him.
Very, very nice. Very slip underneath. Nice dump in, as you said, from Whitlow. Again, when we're going to watch replays, I am going to be critical. Tough to tell if he lands before the ball's in. But again, Whitby allowing guys to slide through. And Pelon, he scored the last goal on a rebound, goal on net. Now he's going on net again and taking a big pass.
Travis Stotts winning the draw. He's not a face-off man. Jacobs, his underhand, just wide and caught an official but stayed close. And the SteelHawks have just been blasted here.
Yeah, it's 3-0 to start the half here. And again, Whitby's got to get something.
Backdoor Highland, what a save!
Big save.
The dust bucket in the house. Big one there as Ski now will look to move it up. And Dusty Hill has just gotten better as this game has gone along.
Yeah, Whitby needs a spark, Lance. And they may, Hartwood hasn't played bad, but the next goal's big. If Six Nations gets it, I think you got to make a goaltending change just to get them out and just kind of let your team know we need a second here, guys. Let's go. We got to regroup. They don't want to keep falling further behind here. 5 goals, a big
Bomber
big
with a
amount.
good underhand right on and great forechecking. And a chance here. Armitage over top of the net. I don't know. It makes you wonder sometimes. These guys got pinpoint accuracy from 25 feet away from the net. Then they get in tight and can't seem to find the 4x4.
Yeah, I was going to say last time out, Kirk came right back after the shift. He lost his helmet. That's good to see. Tough little kid. I call him little. He's, short like me, so.
Osborne just missing.
I had a good chat with him at one time, too. Here we go again.
Little is average size. Chance here, 2-on-1, and sizing that one up. Good save by Harwood, and he gets it up. Osborne now, 2-on-1 chance. Dumps it up. McGregor's shot, stop. So a couple good opportunities. Dusty Hill comes away when the dust is settled, and now Stotts. Just has to take his time. Now he's got it.
think that's one of the first times that Liam Osborne was out for a long shift. I can see him over on the bench, crouched over, getting his breath. But one of the few times you won't see him take that ball hard to the net.
Goddard from way out. Good pad save made there with the shot clock winding down. And now in transition, SteelHawks. Clancy goes to the far side. Dusty Hill made that one look easy. He'll pick it up and he'll fire it back the other way. Too far and into the Whitby bench. So possession will go the other way. Momentum has definitely shifted in favor of the Snipers here in this third quarter. Cutting through and hold up. What a save! Dusty Hill again. Stuck out the left pad, and now Zulian on the run. 3-on-2. Stotts. He'll take that shot. Almost snuck it through the 5-hole, but Harwood having none of it. And now we will counter with the SteelHawks again in the offensive end.
I think Six Nations is starting to play into Whitby's hands here. They don't need to turn this into a track meet. Nice try by Stats. It was a bit of a 3-on-2. But love the ball. Take some time, get a good shot. You don't need to rush it at this stage. You're up 5 goals.
Well, I tell you, we have seen Jerry Stotts come up with a couple big transition goals over the last couple weeks that have changed the complexion. Whitlow, Jacobs, Whitlow bouncer, stopped by Har, would not have a thing to do with that. Loose in the corner. Good job by the SteelHawks to pick that up. One quick pass ahead. Morgan had it knocked down. Armitage, good job. And Morgan now will look for some open carpet. Gets it to Hamley. Cody Hamley, of course, a seasoned vet, has been with the Arena Lacrosse League since we started 9 years ago. Osborne dumps it off. On the curl. And can't connect cleanly as that early check will give possession back to Whitby. Pfeiffer. Killian gets bumped on the screen. Pfeiffer, great move, backhand. I can't believe he saved that with the butt of his stick. Unbelievable, Dusty Hill.
I can't believe Parker shot that shot.
So between falling down backhand and a nub of the stick save, that was some kind of highlight right there as Bombury skips the pass, Chayton King. King eludes the defender, dumps it down. Whitcomb. Pelon, his shot, stopped by Harwood. Loose Pelon and Bragg getting into it, and they'll both part ways. That pass, an easy one. Vradenberg read that. Good job, good hustle, Vradenberg. Comes away with it. Numbers now for the Snipers, but they'll pull it out. 3 defenders were already back for the SteelHawks. And now Whitlow. Armitage sizing it up. Kick across. Whitlow had it tapped out of his stick on a good defensive effort there. And Rowan Kelly provided some extra insurance on the block. And now it's Sweet.
Yeah, really good defense by Dallas Clancy there against one of the top offensive players in the All.
Pfeiffer gets a step on Killian. He'll curl back out. Works to Pfeiffer. Out late, Osborne. Osborne charging, bounced too much on it. Rebound, tipped away by Vern Hill. Vern Hill, crafty, got to watch. Orpana. Hill will leave him because the shot clock's winding down. He'll just tie him up. And a good job there by Pfeiffer to get it deep. But with 5:53, that will allow us an official's timeout, and we will stay right here.
I think this is the Pfeiffer chance here. Nope. This is the Quinn Highland one, another great save by Dusty Hill. This is the one. Another, I think we're seeing a mirage of Dusty Hill saves here. I mean, he's just been terrific in the third quarter. Here's the Piper one. Here he goes, jumps in the air, hang time, backhand, end of the stick, goal post, shoulder, helmet, crossbar again maybe.
Another and another, a sister and a brother. A whole lot happened on that play. And I just want to ask you about our first semifinal game. Toronto Monarchs came in really, and I won't say undermanned, but a team with not at full capacity. They catch the defending champion Brampton Express, I won't say off guard, but maybe not playing their best game. What were your thoughts? 10-9 win for the Monarchs.
Well, I'll try to be quick here. Toronto the last 3 weeks has been playing undermanned, especially offensively. Injuries, all that stuff. They go into Whitby needing to win their last game of the season to make the playoffs. They beat Whitby, hold Parker Pfeiffer to one secondary assist. The next week at quarterfinals, again, they play huge defense. They hold Aaron Woods to one assist, leading goal scored in the league. Next week, today, they hold Curtis Ward, unofficially, we haven't reviewed the stats yet, to one goal. That's pretty good defense.
That's some pretty good defense is right. Thank you for bringing to light some of those things as Bombury skips it across to Goddard. And you can see when the snipers are flowing right, the ball's touching a lot of hands. And that'll be an interference call, and possession will stay right here with the Orange. So arguably the best quarter of this game certainly for the Snipers. Currently right now with some time to go as Whitcomb stepped into that one. Bombury went airborne. Still has it. Great hands. Shoveled it over. And they still got time on the shot clock. Good job by Whitcomb. Shot clock at 7. Goddard! And that may be the goaltending change you talked about, Paul, but right over the corner on Harwood as he went down to his knees.
Yeah, it is going to be a goaltending change here. Ryan Chikowski's going to come in, and I tell you, you know what? I got to give Ethan Harwood some credit. He came back strong after the 10th goal, made some big saves, but this is just a blast from way out, and he's down, right? And when you drop like that, it normally means you've lost some of that confidence, and he's a good young goalie. And again, he may come back and play the rest of this game. Who knows how long he's out for? If it's just a quick in and out, or if Ryan Chikowski's going to come in and finish up. But what a great shot from that angle.
Yeah, and we've seen that on a regular basis where sometimes the netminder just needs a breather. He'll come out for a couple of shifts and then go back in. We'll see Ryan Chikowski in there, of course. His dad, an outstanding broadcast partner, as is the one I'm working with today, Paul St. John. 4-3 on the season for Schitzkowski. And it's not easy, Paul, to come in a game of this magnitude at this, and your team's trailing here by more than a handful of goals, and you're tasked now at trying to allow nothing.
Well, I'm going to say this about Schitzkowski. He is one of the best goalies coming off the bench. We got a 12-6 score. I know our scoreboard says 11-6 still, but it's 12-6. And, and that's they made the change now. But he's good coming off the bench. Whitby just needs to get going. They got to figure out Dusty Hill, who's allowed one goal since, I think, the 2-minute mark of the second quarter.
Dust bucket has been good. Snipers to work now on offense. Jayton King gets a step on Morgan. King buries it! The King has returned. Chayton in the building.
You don't see that too often where Robert Morgan gets beat one-on-one. He's very sound defensively. I don't think I've seen this all year. This is one of those games, at least to this point, where everything that could go right now for the Snipers is going right. Started when it was 5-2, and what are we at? 13-6. Do quick math for me, Lance.
Don't ask me to do
11-1?
math, man. You know how I am.
Right,
Come
look
on.
at the score difference. 11-1. It's a big roll, but Robert Morgan very rarely, and Chayton King took him to school.
Quit trying to expose people's weaknesses, will you? All right. As Whitby off the draw, but momentum clearly working with the Snipers. And a chance here. Highland quick stick had all kind of time. Tracked down by Pfeiffer. And he'll flip it Orpana. Orpana lets it go. Dusty Hill closed up the wickets now. And he'll give way, and it's Jacobs. It's a good job by the Snipers to casually get it over the timeline. And when you're a bit undermanned as far as your bench goes, Paul, you don't feel it in the first or second quarter, but usually midway around the third and the fourth, that's when you really start to see the fatigue set in.
Absolutely, but where you really do start to feel it is when the score starts to get away from you, right? Your legs feel heavier. You have no jump, but when it's tight, it's 5-5. Like, everybody wants to get on the floor. When it becomes a score like this, you're thinking, oh, boy, are we going to win this game? The mental game becomes such a big aspect of it.
Rebound picked up and another good save. Dusty Hill's been a wall this quarter as this team has put up 5 goals. Whitby has yet to score in this third quarter. Pelon will cruise along that left side. Chayton King, and no offense to Chayton King, and I know I'll chuckle with him about it later, but blowing by a guy and getting a goal, I don't know if I've seen that from Chayton King. Good job defensively. SteelHawks on the run. Transition opportunity here for Reed. Good job by Armitage, working him over. Armitage relentless. Great job. Jacobs there to help. They knock it loose. Killian, great box out, and he's got possession. Now they'll move it up, and it's Stotts. Stotts with Jacobs. 2-on-1. Stotts keeps it, and it finds its way in. Travis Stotts in transition. Well, he could have given that over to Stone, but kept it himself.
I wanna say polite because obviously in my position.
Will you be polite?
That's a dump.
Will you be polite?
That's a dump back door. But you know what? Good on Travis. Again, a hard shot, and I don't know. You look at it and you're thinking maybe Shikowski could have it. It's on his hip, but they're tough saves on the hip. We try to teach that all the time. On the hip, and it goes through.
Well, you know what? When your body's moving, that means your hips are moving. So I think that you may think that it's easy and it's just in that corner, but if you're going the other way, you can't do anything about that one behind you. Vradenberg and the Snipers all over anything loose here. Chance in transition. Vradenberg tried to go. Good save, Shikowski, as he was able to move laterally. Nice on that. Read that one. And now Pfeiffer. So the Fife Dog crew has embarked a whole lot in this game, and they're going to need a big fourth quarter here as we're going to get delayed penalty to the Snipers. Pfeiffer, and that shovel was right on net. An illegal cross-check, and it looks like it's going to go to Osborne. So Sean Osborne, 2 for an illegal cross-check.
Yeah, I didn't see it. Let's see if we catch it here in the replay. I think off to the side. Yeah, right there. On Kerr. Kerr's taken some pretty big hits in this game, in the high chest area and, stuff.
No offense, but he's an average size guy, and that check for some of these guys is around the neck,
absolutely. Right? He's a terrific ball player, a lot of skill, and, and he's a tough little kid. I keep calling him kids, Lance.
I know. That's just because we're old, Paul. That's all. Round the horn. Fife to Fife. Shot goes. Stopped by Dusty Hill again. Pfeiffer working it in. Pfeiffer chased out. Stotts chopping him down. Pfeiffer. Orpana had that one partially blocked. Stotts swimming his way. Stotts. They'll return the chop. Jacobs in alone. Oh, Stone. Jacobs doing it all today. Gives Stotts the assist. Another shorty. 4th shorthanded goal for the Snipers.
I didn't know what end to watch because Stotts makes the pass. I'm thinking that Osborne and him and Parker Pfeiffer was going back to do some talks. But I had to turn my head and watch Stone Jacobs because he is fun to watch in transition. And, again, goes down. He knows what corner he's picking, and he just runs in and delays, and picks the short side top corner. And there's a 3 shorthanded. That's probably an ALL record by one player in a game. I think we've had a few.
That's right,
2.
3 for Stone alone shorthanded, and they have really gotten the job done. And whatever the pep talk that Vince Longboat has been giving these guys prior to game time has certainly been working because they are rolling here. We're into the final minute, third quarter, and the Snipers have taken full control of this game. That shot steers through, and even that, no bounce. That got through off the post and out.
Yeah, instead of going through it in and out, it reverses and comes back the other way.
Well, you've played a lot of lacrosse games in your life, Prez, and you know that sometimes things go your way and sometimes they just don't.
That ball spins sometimes a little crazy on its own, eh?
Pelon, one-on-one. He's just going to look to burn some time. Game clock at 15, as you can see, ticking down. Good job by Armitage. He's going to fake the shot. And so good job with 9 seconds left here. Snipers just don't want to give up a goal. That's it. Good pressure from Zulian. Burn some clock. Tough to take that from way out. And that'll be it. So nothing for the SteelHawks in the third. A whole lot for the Snipers. 15-6 after 3. We'll take a short break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the track in Oakville, Ontario, as we are set for fourth quarter action here in this second semifinal. And Paul St. John, take a look here. Dynamite quarter for the Snipers.
Yeah, outscored Whitby 7-0. First one, Pilon went back-to-back actually on a rebound. And then actually Bomberry scores again, low off the hip over the pad. And then I believe Pilon scores next on a two-man game with Whitlow. Again, throws top corner. Tough on hardwood. What can you do? When guys are getting looks right on top of you all the time, it's tough. This is the one from way out, top corner. That was Hardwood's the end of his night. Unless he's going back in. No, we see Shukowski coming back in. And then they just pour it on. King underneath on Morgan. On Shukowski, first shot goes in, and then on transition, Stats takes it by himself and shoots one on the hip under the glove. And then we see Stone Jacobs with his third shorthanded goal of the quarter, the end of 7-goal run. So very tough quarter for the SteelHawks for sure. See what they have left in them the fourth quarter and see if they can find some run to try to get back in this game.
Well, off the draw, Reed shovels it up to Pfeiffer, and Reed goes backhand. Good job by Hill, just caught a piece of it. And now going for it hard is Osborne. Collision there with Morgan. That's two big bodies right there. And now Stott, speaking of big bodies. And as we roll into this fourth quarter, Paul, you look at the SteelHawks. They have been dealt some adversity this season, still have put together an outstanding regular season as Bomberry tucks one in. Now let me ask you as we'll go through this, but what do you think, if anything, can the SteelHawks do here to slow down this roll?
Well, fans that are watching at home, I'm going to be blunt. Nothing. Don't want to say the game's over. I mean, there's 15 minutes left. We've watched a couple NLL games recently. Halifax had 10 goals in the fourth quarter, came back and lost in the end to Georgia. It could happen. But what I'm watching here is I'm watching Whitby get scored on, and I'm just watching the body language. Body language doesn't tell me that there's a comeback here. If someone can convince me differently, I'm hoping they can, because we don't like to see blowouts, especially in playoffs.
Well,
Six Nations has to be smart and love the ball, but when you can score goals, why not just score?
Well, if you're rolling, you don't want to stop the train from rolling. As a chance here, and that one didn't sneak through, and they've just been snake-bitten. Clancy, another good opportunity. And Dusty Hill has really been the difference here. As you can see, the SteelHawks with just 6 goals through 3 quarters, and we may not have seen that this season as Chayton King. Good hesitation, Chayton King, and of course Chayton likes the sidearm and the overhand, went with the underhand there, and they'll work for another 20. Well, if we look at this, and we'll talk about championship matchups, but not until this one is sealed as close. Good pass, Whitlow. Oh, my goodness. Wes Whitlow. Well, he did it to Harwood. Might as well spread the wealth.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Now he's done it to both goalies. again, just beautiful to watch with hands and stuff. But in the end, there was a delayed penalty, as as you called, Lance. West comes out. No one wants to take the body, right? Well, mind you, though, the slide that comes over, it's kind of late anyway by Reed. But Hamley gets trying to stick check. You can't stick check Whitlow. Sorry, Wes. You've got to go body on body there. I think that's one difference we'll see tomorrow versus Toronto. We'll see some more body on body. Toronto likes to hit. Right now, Whitby's not really hitting anything.
Well, Whitby, just quite frankly, and then I agree with you about the body language. I also agree with they just didn't get the spark when you mentioned they needed one in the third, and that's what they didn't get, and that was pretty obvious as Jacobs again rolling around the loose ball, but the other loose ball king of this league, and Parker Pfeiffer able to track it down. 6 on the shot clock, or Pan on the run. Picked up Pfeiffer. I'll tell you, though, you can never – the Pfeiffers will never stop playing hard. That you know for sure, and that's one of the beauty of their game. And
yeah, absolutely. Parker and Devin don't have any quit in them. They never have. They're terrific guys off the floor, and they work hard. I mean, there's nights when the floor's open in Oshawa and nobody's on it, and they're there with their sticks, want to jump on the floor and shoot around.
Duck in, Armitage, shot right on. Good save by Szyskowski as he's able to gather, and an outlet pass. Reed looking for it. And Killian going to try to run it down. Instead, it'll be Hill.
See, the big problem is when you get into this game, it's 11-goal difference, right? So the team that's down, they always think they have to rush, right? And they do. I mean, let's be honest. You only have 12 minutes. But a goal a minute, right? So you're going to get a possession every time. Now, you're not going to score every possession. Everyone knows that. But in the end, why not take the possession? Why are you throwing long passes, 1-on-3, all that stuff? Get down the floor, get your offense out there, and try to find something. Coaches have to coach extra hard here. You don't want to lose 17-6. Let's get to 17-10. Maybe we get to 11, 12. But right now, I just don't see that.
Well, I like your thoughts about the process and what you have to do to get back in as Pfeiffer's backhand pass with 5 on the shot clock. Highland, he'll take that right on. Hill looking. Great sidearm outlet right to Whitcomb. Not too many goalies got a sidearm in their arsenal. Whitcomb. Snipers should be in no rush as they float it back. Good Goddard right there where he should be. And he'll secure it, and they will set up the offense here. I think now if you're Six Nations, you go deep into the shot clock every possession.
I agree. I definitely think you're bang on there. You know what? There's no need to rush anything. You don't need goals. You need possessions.
Out of the scrum now, here come the SteelHawks with Sweet. Tried to go backdoor. Killian read that. Great effort as Killian collides. Can't hold on to it. Pfeiffer does. Pfeiffer turns the corner. Don't have the numbers, though, so he'll have to keep it way outside. And Stone Jacobs with the save. Might as well. He's done everything else here. Stotts able to chop that ball free. He's going to play with it a little and let the time wind down. And Snipers now will pick that up. So under 10.5 to go, and if you are the Snipers, you got a commanding lead here. You're not going to play keep away, but I think important that you still have to remain disciplined. And I'm not so sure that has been the case. I think they've just managed a good result with the shorthanded goals.
Yeah, you know what? They might have got away with the first half. You know what I mean? They were up 8-6 at the half. They might have got away with it, and obviously they did. Second half, they've stayed out of the box. And honestly, 5-on-5, Six Nations is as good as any team in this league. And they've proven it today, and they proved it last week against Oswego.
Well, I talked numerous times over the course of the 15 weeks now about how in this league special teams can determine the outcome of a game because these guys are that good. 5-on-5, teams are very even, but 5-on-4, it's a clear advantage. Whitlow, too much from Goddard as SteelHawks now will try to battle back here, scratch away at something. Again, I'd have to agree with you, body language-wise, it doesn't look like they have a whole lot of fight left in them, but that may be fatigue as well. Good job to curl out, get that back up to the top. Parker Pfeiffer lets it go right off the melon. Karam, and a good job now as Osborne on the fly now. Has Vradenberg with him. He'll peel back out. teeter the line and get it over to Pilon.
Yeah, I haven't seen Thunderhill this quarter. I know late in the last quarter, we got a delayed penalty here. Oh, Dusty Hill coming out, but no, he's still coming. They're going to switch and put Jackson in, Jackson Longboat going in. But I haven't seen Thunder here this whole quarter. I know late in the third he was hurting a little bit. We saw him down beside their bench there.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Paul, as Goddard with the steal, because this is the only time this season that you may have to go back-to-back.
Yeah.
So are you thinking as a coach about tomorrow as well, especially when you have a lead like you have if you're the Snipers?
Yeah, absolutely. There's no need. Thunderhill doesn't have to come back and play. I mean, Whitby's not chippy, but you don't need if he's hurting a little bit. If it's a leg and he takes another slash or something, you need him for tomorrow. He's a big player for them, right? Same with a couple other guys. If there's a chance to rest here, rest, but be smart with the ball.
So that might be the case as Pfeiffer out of the back door, chased by Wittich, and that pass can't connect with Osborne. Picked up Killian. Not cleanly, though, as he gets bodied by Orpana. Instead, it's Mikey McLaughlin.
Heck of a play by Killian to bat the ball up the floor to get it over the 8-second line. I'm going to say this quickly before, Six Nations gets a chance here, if they do or not. I've seen Liam Osborne miss passes that he never misses, just off by a fraction here and there. And, it just sums up their game, right? Because you don't see that.
Well, in his defense, Whitlow, I don't know how he even held on to that. Still has it with 4. Slides it across Bombury, and that one off a toe will give them 20 more to work with. And that will take us to our final officials timeout and allow me to thank some of our Six Nations sponsors for sticking with us, of course, through this 2025-26 season. Classics to Customs Auto Body, Belco Construction, KT Gas and Tobacco, Tribe Cannabis, Little Buffalo Store and Gas, MTS Native Services, Morrow Athletics, thank you for the sweatshirt, Guaranteed Glass and Tint, Nicosi, Wicked Extracts, and Hills Custom Coffins, where Myron says you can come on by, but you can't stay. 17-6 to score right now. The Snipers in the driver's seat looking to book their ticket. And, Paul, if I had to say right now that if we were going to talk about a matchup between the Toronto Monarchs and the Six Nations Snipers, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'll tell you, there's a lot of Toronto Monarch management and players watching this game, and they're probably thinking they want to see, a couple more things. They want to see Six Nations burn all their goals, and they want to see maybe some rough stuff, maybe a guy get a suspension or something. Not that they're thinking that, but I'm sure they are. But in a matchup head-to-head, again, it's going to be Toronto's defense and Sam Haynes, who's been outstanding all year long, and especially in the last 3 games. They're going to want to see whether or not they can hold this high-fire offense down. Sorry about that. I was just watching Ryan Andresco. He doesn't play a lot. This is his first playoff game ever, and he just stripped Devin Pfeiffer, and that's pretty impressive to do that.
Well,
that's what caught me and it shut me up for a
You
change.
saw the reaction from the bench. They were pretty happy. They gave him a good round of applause, so that tells you there as curling around high and in tight, and boy, the drought continues for the SteelHawks as Travis Stotts on his horse over the timeline.
And that was Orpana again. There's another one that, Owen, he's had games of 7 or 8 goals this year, right?
Well, I think it's just like you said with Osborne, just that fraction of a second off, and you don't know if that's not having full rosters for the last 2 games of the season, so you couldn't really get the chemistry, and then you get a bye week, so now you're 2 weeks off, so all of a sudden you don't get a chance to really hone that chemistry you need. The Snipers, they've been rolling on chemistry for the second half of the season. Hamley might as well take that, as Dusty Hill been a brick wall here in this game.
Well, that's Jackson Longboat back in
Longboat.
there now.
Yep.
But you almost got me because last time when Orpana missed, I was going to say, it's almost like Hill's in his head right? And he's changing his shots and stuff because, man, this goalie's making all the saves. You know what I mean? Not everything's going in. When everything goes in from everywhere, you shoot at everything, right? It doesn't matter. It's going to go in the net. But today, Hill's amazing, and Longboat's made 2 nice saves since he's come in.
So Longbow holding down his end of the deal. Whitlow tracking it down on the defensive end, and quick outlet to McLaughlin, making that look casually easy as we're headed toward the 5-minute mark, and the Snipers will be 5 minutes away from booking their ticket to tomorrow's final against the Toronto Monarchs. Pilon. He'll pull it out. 10 on the shot clock. Chayton King tried to go short side. Good save by Shuskowski as he'll look to air one out, and Highland going to try to run under it under 2 hops, but chased down. And a good job there as no quit in Armitage. And he's another one of those kids that gives you everything he's got all the time.
You know, Lance, I just want to jump in because I know we've been really, I don't want to say we've been pumping Six Nations tires. It's hard not to when they've been the dominant team in this game, right? But Whitby's had a terrific year. They started 1-3. They were already being written off. And then their GM went to work, made some trades, got some players back. Will Peshnig, terrific job off floor. The coaching staff has been great. They went on that 8-game run. Then, unfortunately, as you mentioned off the top, they lost 2 in a row to come into the playoffs, right? And they just never really, I can't say they didn't get untracked in this game because they were up 5-2. But ever since 5-2, they just haven't had it. But hats off to them. They've been great all year. Just a great organization.
Well, I'm glad you jumped in with that, although, you're my partner, so you could jump in any time. So, just so you're aware, as Snipers will pull it out with Whitlow. Now, this is Orpan and Osborne, and that one slides through, so Chayton King. And this is where we just talked about where you really have to be disciplined in a lopsided game like that. So, well, if you're Wes Whitlow, you've had an amazing game now. You don't want to jeopardize tomorrow as you're definitely going to be needed.
Yeah, Wes has got to be smart here. We haven't seen this in a long time. We're seeing a goal here by Chayton King. Again, just a shot that goes through Shikowski. You see Shikowski's head throw back at the end. He knows he should have had that one. But again, it's an 18th goal, right? It's like, you don't want to say he's like Ryan's trying his hardest, but those ones sneak in sometimes when the game's out of reach, right? But afterwards, Kerr gives Whitlow a shot. Whitlow gives one back, and another Whitby. Dallas Clancy comes in, gives a shot. Wes has just got to just say, hey, guys, I'm sorry. We're playing tomorrow. I got to go. I'll get you next year or whatever you want, right? But not today, right?
Well, hopefully that with just over 3.5 to go, that may be Whitlow, like Thunderhill, may be done for the game today, would be my suggestion to the coaching staff anyway, as it looks like the defense itself is standing on its own for these Snipers.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Snipers got a power play out of that, but I would agree with you. You know what? You don't need to put out Whitlow. You don't need to put out most of the guys that are on the floor right now, right? There's 3 minutes to go in the game. You don't want to see any injuries, anyone get hurt, but you also don't want these guys to react like West just did. Walk away. You don't need a penalty.
Cutting inside, Bomber, he takes a hard hit. Armitage, that'll be a shot clock violation. And
that's another thing, Lance, I wouldn't be doing on the power play. I wouldn't be cutting right now. Stay on the outside, throw the ball to the net, it goes in, it goes in. If not, Whitby's not getting 12 goals in 3 minutes.
Great save there by Action Jackson Longboat as he's able to keep that one out of the net and keep the drought a scoreless second half for the Whitby SteelHawks, and with the Brampton Express being eliminated earlier by the Toronto Monarchs and the Arena Lacrosse League's only repeat champion in the Whitby SteelHawks looking like they're going to have to sit down and sit out the final, and gives you an idea of, again, the parity of the Arena Lacrosse League and how important it is to play a 14-week schedule and never give up, as Goddard taken down, but I think we'll leave that one alone. And Goddard doesn't even have to show McGregor. He's probably got a at least 4 or 5 inches on him as Bombury, and going to be a delayed penalty, and I think it'll be that one on McGregor as that bullet underhand for Whitcomb. So if Whitcomb gets something out of this, it's finding that stroke there and upping the lead, but I think you're now worried about tomorrow. You're not talking about today.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you on that. This is just a mop-up goal. It's an unfortunate, really, at the end. McGregor tried to stick check and kind of caught legs with legs, and Whitcomb blasts one. But again, I need to check the rule book because I thought we had talked about this. Because to me, on a delayed penalty, when a team scores on a 6-on-4, I don't like there's only 12 seconds left in the other penalty. Wipe out the goal, still keep the 12 seconds, play on. But maybe I'm wrong.
Well, I think what you need to do is to put in a formal appeal to the president of the league and see what he has to say about it. Get his approval and then go from there. Okay.
I like that idea.
Just a suggestion. Just thought I'd throw it out there.
Sometimes, though, when you send him emails, he never replies.
Oh, don't have to tell me. I know. But nothing we can do. It's an appointed position. Orpetta dumps it down. Oh! And what a save by Jackson Longboat. I tell you, goaltending contagious today for the Snipers.
I'm going to give Robert Morgan credit there, man. He did a dip and dunk move on him, too. And
good move
how
from
Jackson
Morgan
got his arm up for that was a beauty save.
Morgan looked like a goal scorer on that attempt there for sure, as we're into the final minute here of this second semifinal, and it looks like the Snipers are going to book their ticket to tomorrow's All-Cup final. As Jayton King, now no stick for Bragg. King's trying to take it in. Bombury off the post, and you like their enthusiasm, still trying to go at it. And now you figure that they'll just let Whitby come on up and let that clock keep ticking.
Tell you, Pfeiffer's going to still try to score here.
Well, of course. I
love it.
Like you said, no give, and there you go. So, if anything, they get one this half, and it's Parker Pfeiffer. And again,
you can see it coming off the bench. Parker's like, you know what? It's a little too late, but
I'm getting one.
A goal there, yeah, I'm getting one. You know what I mean? And end the streak. We got one in the second half, whatever it is. But that's just, you call them, I think you call them the Fife Dogs or whatever.
The crew,
that's the bark in them, right?
That's
He
right.
isn't giving up.
That is the bark in them. You're right about that. And like you said, I think certainly hats off to Ryan Degerton and Brad Reed. They've done it. And that is some kind of crease dive. Never mind. I don't know where was that in the third quarter when they needed it. Scott Reed pulled that rabbit out of a hat.
I don't even have to look at the replay. I'm going to turn my back to it because he took that right from the face-off to the net, to behind the net, and crease dunked it. I will turn around. He goes behind, and here, he slides off of Travis Stott and found a spot there. I don't know how because Jackson Longboat was on the post, but obviously there was a little bit of room. And like you said, where was that earlier? And
that could have been the spark, right? But
Six Nations just getting a little bit lazy here. They know the game's over.
Yeah, and I think
but you don't like to give up goals either, right?
Well, no, but you know what? I think they'll live with that one, as you can see, because the clock has officially wound down, and that's where you shouldn't even be worried about today. Tomorrow's all that matters. It's going to be the Six Nations Snipers with a 19-8 convincing win over the Whitby SteelHawks. They advance to tomorrow's All-Cup Championship Finals. Paul St. John, some of your final thoughts on this game here.
Well, I tell you, if Six Nations brings what they brought today, and Toronto brings what they brought for the last 3 weeks, actually you can say the same about Six Nations because they've been on a run too. We're in for a heck of a final. Would I have seen this game going one-sided? Absolutely not. I mean, we saw an early 5-2 lead by Whitby. I honestly expected another tight game, but hats off to the Snipers. I mean, they're just firing on all cylinders, and they're ready to roll, and they're getting goaltending out. So hopefully tomorrow we see Toronto, same thing, goaltending out with Sam Haynes, and we're in for a heck of a final.
So two outstanding netminders. I would assume that Dusty Hill would get the call for the Snipers, Sam Haynes for the Monarchs. We'll wait and see, but more importantly, we want you to make sure you join us for the 2026 All Championship Cup Final, 3 p.m. Eastern Time right here at the Toronto Rock Athletic Center. Make sure you tune in. On behalf of the Arena Lacrosse League, all our volunteers, our production crew with JVI, my partner, Paul St. John, thank you for joining us again. I'm Lance Wynn. We'll see you tomorrow when the cup gets hoisted. Make sure you're here.